So the next question was talking about certain paintings throughout style periods and how they specifically portray death and the fake and the real elements of them. So first we have Death of Marat, which I printed out. And to first talk about the real aspects of this is obviously Marat was a real person, and also the location that he died is also accurate. He spent a lot of the time in his bathtub because he had a skin condition, and thus how he died is true. Also, the fact that he got stabbed, that's also true. So things like that. The overall instance of it is all true. These all are events that happened. But what's not true about this one is so first, it's the stab wound. It's portrayed as not being very much, and despite him being surprised and attacked, it's not portrayed as very much. But I think the main thing that is fake about this painting is how Marat is portrayed as saintly, as peaceful, as like resting, like he has a very neutral expression rather than a face of someone who just got murdered. It's not it's not realistic. But and the reason that is because Marat and David, who is the painter of this work, were friends with each other. And what the thing is with Marat, he had killed at this point, because this is after the French Revolution, thousands of people. He ordered for like hundreds of people's heads to be decapitated, basically to die with the group of blood, I believe is what it was called. So he is no saint. He is not a good person. He is someone. This is not even what it is. And then another element that's interesting is that in the future, with more comes out, Charlotte Corday, the woman that actually killed him, is actually portrayed as the saint and the heroine that got rid of him. So the view of him as a person very much changed with time. So that's the first one. And the second painting is the death of General Wolfe. And well, once again, just like Marat, this is an actual event that happened. This was during the 7 Years' War. General Wolfe, the man in the middle, this one, died as the battle basically ended after victory. But what's not realistic about this is definitely the sky. I mean, the sky perfectly parting in the middle. The group of people just like just finished and everything, and then also people grouping up just right around him. Well, General Wolfe is respected, and in general, I feel like it's realistic to think that he would be mourned in a type of battle like this, or like where they just finished fighting. They are not going to be directly just going over and grouping up and giving an actual chance to mourn. So that's just not realistic. This is not how it occurred. And then another thing that shows that this is really not how this event occurred is this Native American or Indian that's over here. He would not be here at this battle. That's not realistic at all. He would have no reason to be involved in this. And what many people suggest, and I think you suggested while we were talking, that one of the potential reasons that he was added into this is because this is not David, Benjamin West had just done a trip to Europe, and he studied anatomy and things like that, based off of like Da Vinci and, oh my gosh, Raphael, Michelangelo, and things like that. And he wanted to really show his new understanding of anatomy through this, and having someone who's like mostly naked and therefore has their muscles showing and things like that really gave him a good chance to really showcase the skills that he learned in doing his trip to Europe. So that's the fakeness of it. Okay, and the last one is Harvester of Death, which was done by Sullivan. This is actually a photograph, so this is not. So what's different about the other two is that all the elements in this, like, that are actually present here are true, such as the bodies, the the background. That is true. Like, the people that are in the back of this are real people. And that. But what's and the bodies. I mean, obviously they were actually died, and this is a real battle. This was the aftermath of Gettysburg. And so, but what's not realistic about this, and as I showcased and circled, is the poses and the locations of some of the bodies, such as many of them are raised with their knee up and things like that. It's estimated that they did this because they wanted it to be some symmetry, or not symmetry, some like continuous, like, reoccurring thing to tie it all together and make it look a little bit more cohesive and things like that. And then also, some of the bodies were moved to get into the photograph. And like, obviously the pose, that's as I just said. But so that's what's really fake about this one, is the event is real, the people are real, the dead bodies are real, the background is real, but the way that the bodies were posed and the location of the bodies were changed to make it look like there's more bodies there, and to just fit it all in a photo, rather than like take a bunch of other photos, have one that looks more cohesive and put together. So all of these three works, they all talk about death in very different ways, like whether it's talking about the horrors of it in like The Harvest of Death, that's talking about how bad death is and things like that, or to like glorify someone who is dead, like General Wolfe or like Marat. You said what's an example of something nowadays that is a false narrative about death? And what I really thought when that came to my mind is definitely this is a vape ad. It's like a geek bar. And the reason why I think that this is the modern day kind of narrative of death, it's very different than the other ones. The other ones are talking about, again, glorifying or how bad death was. But what I think is unique about this one is it is talking about, or it is, in fact, the death aspect of this is not even mentioned of it. It is hidden. That is with many advertising that is nowadays. That is a big cultural issue that we have nowadays, is that many products, many items kind of use colorful colors and appeal to people's senses and eyes to buy something as they think it's beneficial, it's fun, it's good. It doesn't mean death. How could something that looks so innocent mean death? But with the data and with what we know about it, that this is death, and it leads to death, and it leads to injury, and thus it's a false narrative. It's ignoring what it truly is, what it really brings, and it shows people to ignore what this truly represents and what it truly leads to, the consequences. And that's why I chose that this is the modern day equivalent of a false narrative of death. Oh, and I forgot to mention, of the three photos, the one that I believe is the most false, the most fake of the three of them, is the death of Marat. And it's because this man is not an innocent man. Again, as I mentioned, he killed thousands of people. Full of the group, he was part of the Group of Blood, and again, he had killed thousands of people, and Corday is now seen as more of a heroine than he is for killing him, because you're getting rid of someone who killed thousands of people. So in general, his saintliness, this calm peacefulness, is not what many people think when they think of Marat, because of what he did and the harm that he caused to France at the time. Okay, and that's it.